These are the best gaming has to offer. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we'll be counting down the top 20 video games of all time. For this list, we'll be going over the best video games ever made. To be clear, we're not just basing our entries on games that are fun to play, but also those that had a significant impact on gaming as a whole. Immerse yourself in an epic journey in a world at war. Raid Shadow Legends has everything you want from a deep mobile MMORPG. Choose from 500 champions across 16 factions to build your team and take on bosses, compete against other players in PvP, and participate in tournaments. Of all the factions, I really love the Dark Elves. And here's one of my favorite, Foley, a legendary Dark Elf who not only looks awesome, but who has a high attack and is great for multiple activities. For September, Raid pushed a major update tweaking and rebalancing over 20 different champions to make PvP arena battles even more competitive. On top of that, the Forge is now here, so you can save time and start crafting top quality artifacts and competing right away. Go to the video description, click on the special links, and if you're a new player, you'll get 50,000 silver, 50 gems, 1 energy refill, 1 clan boss key, 5 mystery shards, 1 day XP booster, and 1 free epic champion, Shaman. All these rewards will be waiting for you right here. Good luck, and I'll see you there. Number 20. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. There are a lot of fantastic Metroidvania genre adventure games we could have chosen, and while Metroid Prime was tempting, we elected to go with the best of the Castlevania side of the family. While its initial reception may have been lukewarm, Symphony of the Night has become quite beloved since its release, with its expansive interconnected map, RPG elements, and spectacular soundtrack all drawing praise. Symphony of the Night, like any symphony, is one you'll discover something new about each time you experience it, and it's that depth and level of polish that makes it one of gaming's best. Number 19. Doom. There were a few first-person shooters before Doom, but none of them had the kind of impact or lasting popularity that Doom has. Pitting the players against demons on Mars, the off-the-wall premise led to plenty of violence and frightening imagery, which naturally made it controversial with parents and beloved by kids. Doom set the standard for the early FPS genre, introducing concepts that have endured even to today, such as Space Marines, health packs, huge arsenals of weapons, and multiplayer deathmatches. Without Doom, the FPS genre would surely be doomed, or at least not as awesome. Number 18. Mass Effect 2.
How do you feel about being assigned to the Normandy?
I was handpicked by the Elusive Man to help fight the greatest threat known to humanity. How do I feel?
Mass Effect 2 is not only a spectacular sequel, it's also exceptional on its own merits. Refining and improving everything people didn't like about the original, Mass Effect 2 streamlined the combat and cut away the fat to leave a prime steak of a game. But the real meat of Mass Effect 2 is its expansive universe and storytelling, which raises the tension and investment for the player through complex character relationships that can even be carried over from the first game. Mass Effect 2 is a sprawling and enthralling space opera whose story you get to influence and live in. Is it any wonder so many people love it?
Find any clues you can. Who's abducting the colonies? Do they have any connection to the Reapers? I brought you back. It's up to you to do the rest.
Number 17. Resident Evil 4.
Lord Sattler.
Horror games are hard to get right, but when they do succeed, they're some of the all-timers. While Silent Hill 2 made our shortlist, Resident Evil 4 just had a few more things going for it. RE4 revamped its long-running zombie franchise with a new setting and improved controls, which allowed for more creative combat. In addition, its over-the-shoulder camera view quickly became the new standard for third-person shooters. Filled with memorable set pieces and action sequences utilizing QuickTime events, Resident Evil 4 keeps players on their toes throughout and has left an impression both on players and the industry at large. Number 16. Animal Crossing: New Horizons. The most recent game on our list, Animal Crossing: New Horizons, is everything fans have come to expect from a new Animal Crossing entry, with a town to build and populate with adorable animals, tons of things to find and do, and an atmosphere more relaxing than a full body massage. But what really helped push this game onto our list was its timing. Releasing it during the lockdown has made people use the game in a huge number of unexpected ways, from creating their own talk shows, to using it as a protest platform, to recreating TV shows. Not only is New Horizons a ton of fun and a great escape, but it's also inspired people's creativity. Number 15. Bloodborne. From Software is famous, or infamous, for their punishingly difficult action RPGs. And while their more recent Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is also fantastic, we feel the best version of their formula is in Bloodborne. This game turns the intensity and the terror up by emphasizing close combat against the many eldritch horrors you encounter in its dark fantasy world, which turns even ordinary enemy encounters into pulse-pounding life-or-death fights. The danger and discovery are as intoxicating as the blood that drives the story, and Bloodborne has borne fruit as one of the most exciting action games out there. Number 14. God of War. Although it's the fourth entry in the God of War series, the game stands well on its own, as well as head and shoulders above its predecessors. God of War follows the title god, Kratos, and his young son on a journey through a Norse mythological world. Not only is the world and game built around it stunning to look at, but the story and characters are rich, detailed, and feel remarkably real. And the combat? So satisfying and fun. We're not sure how the developers managed to make the game both a sweet personal story and a badass power fantasy at the same time, but we're glad they pulled off this godlike feat. Number 13. Grand Theft Auto 5.
I just owe some Mexican hood a couple $1 million because I wrecked his girlfriend's house. I don't need to go crazy here.
Which Mexican?
Martín Madrazo.
He's not supposed to be very nice.
Oh, when I met him, he was charming.
The GTA franchise has delivered plenty of excellent and influential games, but its fifth main entry is arguably its best. It's certainly its biggest. GTA 5 allows players to do pretty much whatever they want in a massive sandbox world, while also taking its crime storylines and signature humor to new heights.
You need my help.
How do you know?
Because you came here. Why else would you?
Plus, the added online feature has allowed a lot of the crazy antics players get up to be shared with and/or inflicted on friends and strangers. Grand Theft Auto 5 has set such a high standard that we're not at all surprised that Rockstar hasn't managed to deliver a sequel yet, since it's such a hard act to follow.
So you're back in the game?
I guess.
Number 12. The Last of Us. Naughty Dog has managed to craft some spectacular story-driven games that could have made this list, from Uncharted 2 to The Last of Us Part 2, but we had to choose the latter's predecessor. While not the only game to feature a grizzled protagonist accompanied by a young companion, even on our list, The Last of Us grabs hold of the player's emotions and never lets go, immersing you and investing you in Joel and Ellie's story and their father-daughter relationship expertly. The gameplay, while solid, definitely takes a backseat to this captivating story that we'll never forget.
None of that is on you.
You don't understand.
I struggled for a long time with surviving.
Number 11, Street Fighter 2. As far as seminal fighting games go, it was tempting to go with Street Fighter's rival Mortal Kombat 2, but ultimately, Street Fighter 2 won the round with a flawless victory. While the base game is certainly not flawless, given that they've remade and re-released it more times than we can count, the core gameplay of this fighter is so solid that gamers are still playing it decades after its first release. It popularized the idea of combo moves in fighting games, as well as competitive multiplayer in general. Street Fighter 2's influence cannot be overstated. Number 10, Pokémon Red and Blue. There are RPGs, and then there's Pokémon. This simple set of Game Boy games about catching, training, and battling pocket monsters took the world by storm through simple, yet fun turn-based combat, cute and cool monster designs, and a fairly large world to explore for the Game Boy. The trading system also encouraged a level of interactivity rarely seen in other games before it. While Pokémon games since their release have made significant improvements, such as fixing the balancing issues, there's no getting around the impact of Pokémon Red and Blue and the way they launched the massive multimedia franchise that's still going strong today. Number 9, Half-Life 2. As far as creepy, influential sci-fi FPSs go, some of you might be upset we didn't choose BioShock instead, but would you kindly wake up and smell the ashes? Half-Life 2 changed the video game industry by allowing the player to embody their character, eschewing cutscenes and allowing players to experience the world and the story through gameplay. Speaking of which, the wide variety of weapons, particularly the famed gravity gun, give you an unmatched ability to tackle battles and challenges in whichever way you choose. Half-Life 2 has left such a strong mark on gaming that our anticipation for its sequel has reached mimetic heights. Number 8, Halo Combat Evolved. When you think of the greatest, most impactful FPS games, some may point to GoldenEye 007. But as fun as that game was at the time, it doesn't hold up as well as Halo. The game's subtitle, Combat Evolved, is appropriate as it reinvigorated and redefined the FPS genre. With its sprawling single-player campaign, tight controls, and addictive multiplayer that saw some of the first LAN parties, Halo delivered on all fronts. Halo influenced countless FPSs that followed it, and is basically the reason for the Xbox's success.
Fire in the hole!
Number 7, Batman Arkham City.
I had our cold-hearted friend Mr. Freeze making it, but he's gone dark on me.
I'll find him.
I bet you...
Licensed games are usually a toss-up as to whether they'll be good or not, but Batman Arkham City always comes up heads. It does have Two-Face after all. The Arkham games in general are spectacular action games, whose grappling hook and fighting system make every encounter a ton of fun to either dive into or avoid entirely. However, what sets Arkham City apart from the others is its addition of a gliding mechanic, as well as its tense and affecting story, whose conclusion gets us surprisingly choked up. It doesn't take the world's greatest detective to uncover why this is such a brilliant game.
Whose blood is it? Oh, it's yours, isn't it?
Number 6. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The Legend of Zelda franchise is packed with some of the best games ever made, and as breathtaking as Breath of the Wild is, Ocarina of Time is an absolute stunner. The game, besides acting as a template for nearly every Zelda title to follow it, also became the benchmark for adventure games everywhere, introducing or popularizing concepts like targeting and context-sensitive controls. Plus, there's the unforgettable music, great story, fun side characters, side quests, challenging dungeons, and unrivaled sense of adventure. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time tops many people's best of all time lists, and we definitely see why. Number 5. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Everyone is here. We still have a hard time believing that this game even exists. A crossover party fighter game packed with the who's who's of video game characters from Nintendo franchises from every previous Smash Bros. Game, as well as third-party icons too? What the hell? The concept sounds impossible, but we're living in a timeline where it's real. While the ambition and execution of the crossover alone would probably be enough to get at least an honorable mention on our list, the fact that the core fighting mechanics have been improved and rebalanced from older installments certainly does go a long way towards making Super Smash Bros. Ultimate the supreme fighting game experience. Number 4. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt.
Geralt? Why are you here?
Came to look for you. Croc's worried.
We love Skyrim. We do, bugs and all. But if we're gonna put the best open-world fantasy RPG on our list, it's going to be The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. It may not reinvent the wheel as far as open-world games go, but it does everything nearly perfectly.
Won't know until you try. Come on, a spoonful for Daddy.
Fun and varied combat? Check. A massive world to explore with rewards scattered everywhere? Check. Where the game really shines though is its story, which, given that it's based on a series of books, lends it a sense of history few other games can equal. And with 36 different endings and hundreds of other customizations, you truly get to play the way you want. Number 3. Super Mario 64. There were 3D games before Super Mario 64, but none of them really understood how the characters should move around in them. Mario 64 changed everything. It took what had been primarily a 2D side-scroller franchise and opened up the world in a way that blew our tiny minds during the 90s. And our still minuscule brains are still amazed at how fun of a platformer it remains, with even the simple act of jumping around while exploring the various worlds being an absolute blast. Without Super Mario 64, the way would never have been paved for most of the 3D games on our list. Now that's influential.
Here we go!
Number 2. Tetris. Puzzle games everywhere owe everything to Tetris. Its simple yet addictive concept of rotating falling blocks to fit into lines has made it one of the most successful and heavily ported or remastered video games ever made and one of the most imitated. While easily the simplest game on our list, it is its simplicity that has allowed Tetris to remain relevant for decades. it would not surprise us if, even after all our other entries had been forgotten, that people would still be playing Tetris and still humming that intoxicating theme song. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Minecraft. Yes, Minecraft. The ultimate sandbox game, Minecraft may be graphically outdated with its simple boxy polygons, but its appeal lies in its possibilities. Want to gather resources to fight for survival and maybe fight some bosses? You can. Want to recreate Hogwarts or your favorite music video? You can do that too. You can even create your own game modes or games within the game. The infinite possibilities available to players is what makes Minecraft not only a great game and the highest selling of all time, but also the best, because there will always be a new way to play it. In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.